What's up, everybody? Thank you for coming and hanging out with us, either if you're watching it live or tuning in while you drive on Spotify. We are on episode 90. I mean, that's crazy. 90, what is it, 10 months? Not even a year yet. We are pumping them out, staying consistent, and bringing you all the content we can, going to expos and filming and getting interviews and checking out all the new stuff at the expos and seeing what's going on and bringing you all this content that wasn't there before. And tonight is another thing that I don't think anybody's done, but it's also a subject that's not taught in any way, and it's definitely not going to be taught at work. But this is how to get a better job, how to do your resume, how to do interviews. Like, we're going to go deep into it with I would say the GOAT of fire protection, Ashley Klein. So she's no longer in fire protection. She's in glass, the glass trade, I guess you would say.
Glass and glazing.
Right, but she used to be in the fire protection industry for a long time, and so long so that me and my dad, we worked together. I was his apprentice, and he stepped down to be my foreman for inspections. And he would, on this like really bad days, crappy days, my dad would get upset. He's like, "Man, we gotta call Ashley Klein. We gotta call Ashley Klein, get another job." That was like the running joke with us. Because Ashley Klein was everywhere. If you wanted the job, if you got upset or anything like that, you called Ashley Klein.
I love
and,
that.
And Ashley brought her coworker now, and her name is Emily. She's in general contracting, is that right? Or general construction, right? Yeah. So, ladies, I'm so glad that y'all came on. Obviously, this is neither. Now, I've been to a lot of jobs, a lot of different companies, so I have some experience that way. From like interviews, and then also going from this company to that company, and how they're different, and what I like and what I don't like. But outside of that, this is not my wheelhouse. I mean, it doesn't get taught. Like, how you
I don't
how
even
do you
have
do.
I don't even have a resume.
Yeah, you didn't even have a LinkedIn until like 3 months ago.
Everybody once, like, if three or four people tell me about it, then I'm all for it. And like everyone was preaching about LinkedIn, so here we are.
Yeah. So, ladies, thank you for joining the Dope and Tape Show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for joining
absolutely.
us so
Thank you.
much.
So, what we'll do is, we can start with Ashley. If you can just kind of tell us like what state you came from, and then also kind of your background, just like really quick. Normally we do like an interview style, but I really want to get into the meat of this and kind of start some conversations about recruiting. And because this is gonna be like the only episode and the only kind of insights we get, really. So, Ashley, when did you start in fire protection? How long were you in the industry?
I was in fire protection from 2016 to 2020.
And you got that successful so quickly. That's
Yeah.
wild.
So that was my main goal. I was like, let me just see how many people I can connect with. And it's not something that I do. I don't just connect with people and then just have them as a friend or a connection. I try to make each connection that I like. When I connect with you, I'll always reach out and I'll be like, hey, want to introduce myself. So
Yeah.
I think that's something that was a little different than other recruiters had done. And so I've maintained those relationships even now after I haven't been in the industry for 3 years. I've still got a lot of those relationships.
Yeah, even one of
Enough so
our
to when I left.
followers, one of our followers, Logo from California, he sent me messages like, "Whoa, you helped him like transition and moved from a state to a state, and you were right beside him the whole time."
He's in the chat right now. What's up,
Oh, good.
Ashley? She helped me out with our transition from Hawaii to Cali. She's an awesome human. What's up,
Yeah,
Matt?
yeah.
What's up, Steve?
Definitely
What's up,
consider him
Daryl?
a friend. Never met him in real life, but I consider him a
Oh,
friend.
I haven't met him either, but through this show, I
Yeah.
mean,
I feel
great
that.
guy.
I
I mean,
feel that a lot. Like I haven't met a lot of people, and I feel like
a
I'm friends
lot
with
of
them. It's
people,
crazy,
Yeah.
right?
but we're like best friends, I would say.
It's like when I met Brian,
Logo's one of them. He's
it
awesome.
wasn't that exciting to meet Brian because I felt like I already knew him,
Yeah, so
right?
we were. How long were we like doing this show and everything before we met? What it
I
was
think I,
like?
I think I met you in like in November, and then we didn't meet up until June,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
And it was
Think
just like,
so.
oh yeah, hey, what's up?
Oh yeah, what's up?
Yeah, good to
I
see you.
mean, shoot.
Good to see
I
you
mean, we
again.
never met each other. He's in Boston. I'm in Atlanta, and we have a LLC together and a bank account and all the stuff. We've never even met.
Oh shit! At everyone, we are
I don't
live.
recommend that for anybody, by the way.
It worked. It worked out great. You're
It
doing.
did
You're
for us.
you're doing
It
pretty
did.
good, right?
Yeah, yeah, it did for
Yeah.
us.
What's up,
Good thing you
everybody?
have me,
Thanks for
huh?
yeah, no, good thing you got me. Thanks for joining us. Please hit the like button on your way in. We have Ashley and Emily are going to tell you guys how to get a job, how to apply somewhere different. Maybe you're looking for a little bit more money, maybe you're not happy where you currently are. Maybe you just want to have this little info for the back of your mind, but thanks for joining us. We're happy to be here.
Yeah. So Emily, can you tell us your background a little bit?
Well, mine is probably not what you expect. I was a teacher, wanted to be a teacher from the time I was in probably sixth grade, and got about 7 years in, and one, life changes, and two, teaching is teaching.
Yes.
Um, so I started to look at, my skill set, and similar to you, Bobby, I didn't have a LinkedIn. Like teachers don't need a LinkedIn. They really resumes look a lot different for teachers than probably any other profession. So, through that process and kind of doing some figuring stuff out, came to recruiting. Resisted it pretty hard because my husband is also a recruiter. But ended up kind of, how the stars align sometimes, and here I am, and I dove right in and got um, pretty invested in my success. And here we are. I've been doing construction recruiting for a little over a year.
Awesome. That's awesome.
This is awesome. All right, guys. I don't know who wants to go first,
Who's got
but
the
or if y'all
notes?
team, yeah, yeah. I know y'all have the notes, but if we could just start with, all right, I'm frustrated. I know I'm worth more. I need more. I want more challenge. Where do I start?
Call us.
All right, call you. What are the don'ts? Okay, so the do's are to call the recruiters. The don'ts are what?
My first thought when somebody says, I'm frustrated, I'm not making enough money, before you even go to a recruiter, go to your manager and go see if there is something that can be done. Because down the road, when you are, maybe getting interviews and getting offers, your company's going to want to keep you, and they're going to give you a counter offer. So you need to really figure out your why. Why are you making a change? Is it something that can be fixed by your current company? If it's not, then yeah, you definitely need to get out of there. But Ashley and I have both run into situations where, somebody ends up accepting a counter offer, and it's just like, well, maybe you could have had that conversation from the get-go versus going through, the hassle and the stress of trying to find a new job.
Yeah, a lot of people like to see like if their company's going to do something once they get another offer. But they're like, oh, well, this company wants me. Well, why don't you just go to your company first and say, hey, can I get more education within our industry? Where else can I go? And if you've hit your ceiling, then definitely come talk to us.
Yeah. The book, um, was it good, great? I got it over there. What is it?
You could read.
Good. I have several books. Yeah.
So something that I always preach that kind of plays into what you guys are saying is like the squeaky wheel always gets the oil. So that's kind of what I've always done. But if you want if you think you deserve something, you want something, well, at
Yeah.
least ask for it. Ask for it in a nice way.
So
You
good
you
to
read
great
that whole
is
thing?
I read all the time. How
Oh
else are
my!
you gonna get knowledge? If you do not read, you
I just
don't
don't see
learn.
you as a guy that could read.
I don't particularly like it, but I like to learn things. I have a book next to my bed I'm reading now. But this book, it talks about that. So as far as if your employee wants to leave, let him leave. Because even if he accepts that counter offer, he or she's always going to be halfway in,
Mm-hmm.
never
So
fully in.
we've heard it. We've had a fun analogy when you start to, job hunt, and then there's that counter offer. It's kind of like when you're dating someone and then you start dating someone on the side, and then you try and get back with your boyfriend or girlfriend. It's like, but I know you did that. Like, I know, I know you were looking around,
Yeah, right.
and there's that
Oh, that's
level of
true.
awkwardness. But that's why I do recommend, like, just having the conversation. Is there something I can do to improve my current situation first, and then look elsewhere when you've exhausted those options.
Kind of the same thing to go along with what Emily said. I mean, it's like you're giving somebody an ultimatum, like either do this or I'm leaving. And when you're to that point, just like, you said, relating it to a relationship, you got to get out anyway.
Yeah,
So,
you can't beg him to stay.
yeah.
Matt says,
So,
great
I
book.
mean,
He has it too.
Yeah, see?
It's all right.
You're just the
who's
only
the
one that
author?
doesn't read, Bobby.
Listen, I can get that
No,
book
good thing you have me
on
to answer all
Audible,
your
and then you
questions.
just listen. You listen on Audible, right? While I drive, because I'm driving, I'm stuck in that box anyway. I'm not good at the pages and the reading. I'd be thinking something else.
Yeah,
I'd be
I
reading and
have
I'm thinking
Audible as
something else. I'm
well.
like, what did I just read?
Yeah,
Can't
I
pay
Just
like
get
it.
attention to books.
Brian to read it for you and just
Oh, will you read
him
to me?
his voice.
Little bedtime story,
Yeah,
right?
that would be great.
Oh man, I would make videos of that.
So y'all
That's
have some talking points of your own. And what how do they go? Because I don't even know what to ask. Because when I do look for a job, I contact the people that I know, like in leadership. I'm gonna be like, hey, what do you got? You know?
Yeah.
And then I'm also calling and talking to recruiters, and typically the recruiters that I have the best relationship with, I'll call them. And I'll kind of be faithful to them as um like if I'm thinking about another job or something and I'm talking to another company without a recruiter, I'll reach out to the recruiter I like and that I have a relationship with them, and I'll be like, "Hey, this is going on. Just want to let you know. I don't know what you have, but that's kind of how I go about it."
he can read, he just
Yeah.
can't speak.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
good.
Daryl.
Like you said, you've got connections within the industry, so you could reach out to all of your connections, but you could also reach out to one recruiter, and that one recruiter has probably the same connections as you, but can do it confidentially. So I think it's always a good idea to reach out, find a recruiter and create that relationship with them. Always have a recruiter in your back pocket.
Yeah, staying confidential is important too because like I've been in Atlanta doing fire protection for 15 years, and then also my dad's out there too for I don't even know how long. And everybody knows who we are. Everybody knows who I am. So if it's like Brian's looking for a job, oh, Brian's looking for a job, and they'll call, hey, did you know that looking for a job?
We
And
want
then
him.
yeah,
Atlanta is
so
like Cheers. I feel like everybody knows your names in
Yeah.
everybody
Atlanta.
knows.
So now is the recruiting? Are you guys more recruiting for private, like non-union, or do you recruit for union guys too? How would that work?
We recruit for non-union, and even when I was doing fire protection, it was non-union.
Was never union?
No, I would recruit for some union companies, but not in a union like
Like
position.
if a union guy wants to get a job, I guess
They go to the
he
union.
would just solicit his own work, right? Okay, so
Yeah,
it's mostly the private sector you guys are recruiting.
yeah. I still have a lot of people that I'm connected with in the union, just because I mean they know a lot of stuff. So
Oh yeah, well,
I like to learn from everybody.
maybe they want to jump ship. They jump ship both ways, you know.
Yeah, true.
How do y'all go about that? Like once I contact you and it's like, hey, I don't want anybody to know it's me.
Hmm.
Like, how would you go about talking that person up and not knowing, you wouldn't send a resume out, right? Or you just, hey, what do you have available? I got this guy. He can do this, this, this,
I got an
this.
A plus. I got an A
Well,
plus guy.
we do presentations, so we'll do a bullet point presentation, and we
Whoa.
take out your name, we take out your companies, anything that's going to identify you, we take it out. So you're going to have a bullet point presentation that's going to summarize all of your skills and everything. So they'll be able to look. I think Emily talked about it today. One of our colleagues had posted something that says, how many seconds was it?
So yeah, like hiring authorities will probably only look at a resume for 6 to 8 seconds. So you want them to see the good stuff. You want them to see the stuff that's applicable. And that's where these bullet points come into play because we pick out the best of you when we're presenting to clients.
Okay.
And I think that's really good with like the relationships that we build. The reason why we build these relationships is because we need to know, is this company a good fit for you? Will this position be a good fit for you? Because not everybody's the same. Like I can take a project manager and nobody's the same. No project manager is the same.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
And I think
everybody's
that's what sets, I mean, I can speak for Ashley and I don't know about all recruiters, but that's what sets us apart because we do build that relationship. Like I don't just take a resume and shoot it out. I'm taking the time to get to know someone, and I like to say I'm a matchmaker more than just a recruiter because I'm trying to match you with, your perfect fit. And it kind of, I mean, in a way, it saves that time too, because I'm not sending you out to a company that you would never fit in. So I think that's just kind of that added step with a recruiter that you don't get when you just apply on a job board or
That's
however else you
super
want to go about
helpful.
it.
So what if we have a friend that is a very good inspector and he's moving to South Carolina and he needs a new inspector job?
I mean, you've got plenty of resources.
This is actually a real thing that's happening in the chat right now.
Real life.
This is
Real life.
this is our buddy. This is our buddy Chad. We gotta hook him up with a good spot.
So my previous employer is actually recruiting in fire protection again. So they just rolled out the fireprotectionjobs.com. So now you can go on there and register. You put your resume in there, and then anytime there's a job that matches what you're looking for, you'll get an email.
Yeah, he
So-
has the CEO's number.
Yeah.
Huh? Who is it?
Chad, who's the Bob Cantrell?
Bob Cantrell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Chad
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
him?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
no. I hooked them up, got them together.
Oh, all right. I got you.
Yeah, Bob was awesome. I talked to Bob a while ago, and man, cool guy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool
Yeah, I
having
learned a
Chad
lot
on
from
East
him.
Coast.
A lot of my stepdad used to recruit, and so I started recruiting when I was 21, a long time ago. So I learned a lot from my stepdad and a lot from Bob, and now a lot from Joe. So I've had a lot of great mentors. So
Well,
good guy
definitely
to
at getting
connect
your
with if
name
you're
out
in the fire
there.
protection industry.
So what is something you want to talk about? What are some of the on your little list?
Well, we talked about, you and I had talked about how your resume, you need to be set apart by your resume. And a lot of
Yeah.
people just do a generic resume. They don't go through and see a job description and change their resume to cater to that.
Well, I think that's a great example. So like mine is a standard resume. I just have my, the jobs I worked and then the titles and then the years and then my certifications and then like a little bit about me. But I can also do way more. As in like pretty much I feel like I could do everything but design. Like I don't know anything about design, but I estimate all the different jobs, new construction, service, inspections, like all aspects, even large contracts, and then also inspections for 8 years. But I can also rebuild a pump and then do service and run a new construction job. So like how do I even put that all in there without it being a job title? Like I can do it and I've done it, but it's not on my job title. So how do I build value if it's like I have no idea.
So it really depends. Like, okay, if you're going in for a service position, then you would cater your resume towards service position. You're going to want to do your summary to summarize what you've done in the service position. If you're going to do inspections, you're going to change that summary to show what you did in inspections. And under your companies, just put, a little bit, maybe a sentence about what you've done as an inspector for each one of those companies.
And then I think too, to kind of add on just a list of skills that's super easy to customize to a job description, pulling out keywords as you look at a job description and you think to yourself like, oh, I can do that, or I've done that. Put it in your skill list. And then if it's just, I don't know, Ashley, what's reasonable? 10 bullets.
Yeah.
Those are 10 bullets you can rotate out, whether it's for a project manager role or whatever you're going for.
So whatever is in the description that you're applying for, you change your resume to match it.
Yes.
Yeah, you got so
And
it's
you want to use a
catering
lot of the
it.
same keywords as them just because of algorithms now. You want to make sure that the computer is picking up your keywords to match the keywords of the job description.
And if you're going in for any kind of sales, just to add this on there, they want to see numbers. They
Yes.
want to see, like, they want to see what you closed. They want to see your average. They want to see like the total amount you close per month of what and this, and then also your profit. They want to know your profit percentage across the board, your average sell cost. Like you had to add numbers. I don't know about anything else, but
Yeah, it was one of our talking points. We must have taken a peek at our notes.
Oh.
But no, just to have quantifiable information, I would say as much as possible. Wherever it's applicable, put it in there.
I mean, if you're a manager, you want to put how many people you've managed, how big of a square foot facility you managed, things like that.
Let's say this, like let's say that, managed a couple of jobs, like new construction jobs, but I don't have any like manager experience, managing it, let's say a division, like a sprinkler division. Then how would I change my stuff to do that when I haven't done it?
I mean, you're going to need to use your resources and get some kind of, what are in fire protection, there's some online sources that you can go to, get some certifications under your belt and work up to it.
Okay. So just get a little extra certifications, and certifications are huge. Like I'm sure, Ashley, everybody asks for NICET, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your NICET? What you got NICET?
NICET 3, NICET 4.
Yeah.
That's mainly what we looked for. So
that's not a thing up here. It's so crazy.
I don't know if y'all are ahead or behind.
Well, because we require the electrician, or the designer to have the NICET. I don't need to have the NICET. I just have a sprinkler.
Yeah, but y'all still have a card.
Yeah, I have a sprinkler journeyman license where I could just do all sprinkler, no electrical. I'm not doing any electrical, no fire alarm, no panels, none of that. It's all that's an electrician. It's electrical, so it's local 103.
So in Georgia, you can. Well, you have to have a low voltage license. Like the company has to have a low voltage.
So what's the
license.
NICET doing? The NICET doesn't have anything to do with the alarm?
Yes. Well, so some counties. So you have to be a level 1 to do inspections and then kind of work. Well, you can do whatever to work, but as far as doing inspections, you have to be a 1. Cobb County, which is one of the largest and most strict county in Georgia, they require a level 2 for you to touch sprinkler. As like fire alarm inspections. But you have to be a level 3 fire alarm in order to do drawings and plans. But
yeah, so all the guys in our office have the NICET 3. That's what it is. Daryl
I can go out and do a new construction fire alarm job, no NICET, tomorrow.
Daryl says, what would you do if you had a language barrier? He must be asking because he's got a bad lisp.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I have a language barrier because I'm from Hickory, North Carolina.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, "What did you just say?"
Yeah.
Like, you're the fastest talking Southerner I've ever met.
I don't know. I mean, I talk for a living, so I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not too strong of a Southern accent.
Yeah, it's not. This is not my real accent, but
oh, you're holding it back.
What do you get with your family? It's more, huh?
Yeah. So my
what
mom's
the heck
from
is
Tennessee.
How'd you get that?
Somebody liked Brian.
Somebody just put a like symbol on your face, dude.
Yeah.
What?
I've never seen that. Yeah, but it had to have been someone in the Zoom, right?
On the live?
No, like in the
keyboard.
Zoom.
It was not me.
I don't know.
Some girl from China.
That's a good sign. She's in the chat. She's in the Zoom. No, there's only 4 of us.
Oh.
Oh, Matt's from Dunn, North Carolina. NICET is more for doing inspections. Some states require level 3 or 4. Good tips here tonight. Love the discussion. You
What
don't.
about what about what about color on your resume? I've always done a blue folder.
I don't like color. I don't know why. I like a plain black and white resume.
Yeah. You
I'm
don't like
saying,
stuffed
Just get
lollipops in
straight to
there
the
too?
point.
Like give them some candy?
Lo-
Um,
Throw a
I mean, I love
paper
candy,
clip
but
of 20 on there, you know? 20 bucks
actually,
is 20 bucks. So
if you use me as a recruiter, 20 tape paper clips
yeah.
on there would be great. I would love that.
It's
yes.
awesome. That is
Also,
so funny.
I don't know why, but I don't like when someone has their picture on their resume.
Mm,
Yeah. I
I
mean, we
don't know
already,
why. I just thought like I'm like I don't need that visual. Maybe I don't know.
let's keep it a surprise.
Oh,
Yeah.
here's a good question in the chat. What do you guys see people switching states? Back when you were a sprinkler recruiter, did you see a lot of people going to a certain state?
um, a lot of people are going southeast. So,
Okay,
uh, I mean,
southeast.
Very understandable.
Yep,
it's warm down here.
yep.
And there's southerners, and we're very nice.
And we also get all the seasons to just the right degree, you
Yes.
know, not too much
You guys did
of
pretty good at
one
driving
thing.
too when I just came through North Carolina and South Carolina. Pretty good. Pretty good. We were all speeding. I liked it. I like the Maryland
I think
folks.
Oh,
too,
everybody
like
speeds in Atlanta.
making me think about like where people are moving. That's kind of another benefit of using, well, a good recruiter because like we're constantly looking at trends across our industry and we know where jobs are hot right now. So I think that's, obviously people want to move somewhere where they want to be. That's one motivator. But if you're looking at it as far as a career standpoint, why do all that research yourself when you can talk to somebody who's already done it?
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, and we know the cost of living for different places, so we're going to be able to help you compare the cost of living. We're going to know if a state doesn't have income tax. So there's different things that a lot of people don't take into play when they're looking for a position.
It's like a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Do you feel like people, when they're talking about like salaries, they miss seeing what the insurance cost is?
Definitely. I mean, some people don't even take that into account.
Hmm.
I've had a lot of people that I worked with, will be like, oh, well, I already have insurance. My wife's a teacher. A lot of people
Oh,
had teachers as wives. I don't know why, but they
Pretty
had
awesome.
they had good insurance. Like if somebody else in your family has insurance, they don't want to take that into account. So it's not something that they're
great
looking
money.
for straight ahead.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
Good flip
know,
though. You might need to use that
so
someday.
expensive.
What's up, T?
Yeah.
And it does vary a lot by like how good of insurance you get from company to company, and then also the amount.
I
Huge
feel like the
difference.
total package should definitely be looked at. You shouldn't just look at a salary.
Mm.
Okay. What about vacations? How do you negotiate that?
It's
And
kind
what
of
are the
hard.
normal? Huh?
That's kind of
Normal
hard.
vacation is 2 weeks most of the time.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who have tenure at companies, I know they're going to come with more vacation that they've already got at their company. So I'm going to have to try to negotiate that for them. And that's another reason why a recruiter is a good thing to have. We do all the negotiations for you. We negotiate your salary and vacation and things like that.
Well, I'll take you out of it if you're not good at it. Let the pros handle it.
Let the pros do it. Yeah, it's crazy. I never
So
knew any of this.
I have had candidates that want to do the negotiating themselves. I'm like, okay, go for it. And they do really well. So
Oh, okay. So you can negotiate if you want to.
I've
So
never let anybody do it, but
So the standard is like 2 weeks. How often do you see 3?
I've
I
seen
would
it
say
probably
it's
about
uncommon.
30% of
Common?
the time.
Yeah.
that's pretty good. That's a pretty good percentage. Mostly everybody in construction is hourly, right? Daryl's
Yeah.
asking hourly or salary. I would never salary in the field would never be a good
No.
choice.
That's
Nah.
a terrible idea.
That's so
Yeah.
terrible.
You're gonna work all those hours and not get
Yeah.
paid for it.
Daryl.
Why wouldn't you?
Daryl, that's a silly question, Daryl.
So. Which Daryl is this?
Matt says salary should be based on like if you're working 50 or 60 hours a week, and if it's not worth it. And you get no
It's
overtime.
not worth it at
Yeah,
all.
this is Daryl from Canada. That's an inspector.
Daryl.
Daryl,
Okay,
come on,
I'm gonna have
Daryl.
to keep my eye on him.
I'm over here at 4 weeks. Let's go. Foreman T's got 4 weeks. Good for you. Use them up.
Now, how many companies y'all usually talk to? Y'all reach out to like all your contacts, or you kind of looked on Indeed and kind of the other places to see what your companies that you represent, um, like what they do? Because you kind of stay within your wheelhouse of the companies that you're paid to recruit for. Is that right? Or you just try to find them jobs and then say, hey, if you want this person, it's going to be this much.
Ashley,
Well,
you want to take this one?
yeah, so we do keep those relationships with certain companies. We'll always have, we call them fee agreements. So we'll have an agreement with these companies, and if somebody comes to us, then we'll go to them first. But we also reach out to other companies within the area, and then we'll do, like we said earlier, we'll do a confidential presentation for them and say, hey, we've got this guy, he's in your area, this is what he's looking for, or guy or girl. And then that way we can present them without any of their information being sent over, and then try to get an agreement with them that way. But we always want to make sure that we get you in front of as many people as we can that are a good fit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How do y'all familiar with kind of how like some tips on doing the interviews?
Yeah, so that's maybe something too that sets us apart from most recruiters is that we do offer interview prep to our candidates. So that first one is usually just, obviously covering who it is they're going to be interviewing with, you know, location, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But then just our general advice, have questions prepared, have your resume on hand in case, it's referenced and you need to look back at it. And then open the floor to the candidate. What questions do they have? And usually that lends itself to talking more about the company or about the benefits. Like most of the time, we've seen a benefits package come through from our clients. So we do have some insight as to what those typically look like. And then beyond that, when you move into second, third interviews, you're getting, more specific, and your candidate's going to have more questions. So that's also like I try and have interview prep at least a day before or morning of an interview, several hours. So that way, if there's a question I need an answer to, I can get it from the client before the interview and get that over to the candidate.
Well,
So we had talked about Bob
Interview
Cantrell
prep.
earlier. And one of the things that he does is for the first interview, there's always going to be the Miss America question. So they're going to be like, tell me a little bit about yourself. And then you're stuck telling the company about yourself. You don't know what they want to hear. You don't know how long you should talk about yourself, what you should say. So the way that he says it is you kind of want to put the ball in their court. And so you introduce yourself and say, hey, I've talked to your recruiter's name. I've talked to them. They've told me a little bit about your position, but can you tell me a little bit more about what you see me doing in this role, or what you look for, what you're looking for in this role? And that way you can sit back, take notes on what they're looking for. And then when it's time for you to talk, you have those talking points. So I think that's a great thing
This
to
is a
do.
lot of info. I'm gonna have to listen to this one when I drive in tomorrow.
And,
Well, I think too, like interviews are nerve-wracking. Everybody knows that. Like interviews are an uncomfortable situation. And so I think when you are able to talk to an industry professional like Ashley and I, like we're able to ask those questions, kind of practice or do a dry run so that you do feel comfortable going into that interview.
Yeah, they are pretty nerve. I haven't only done one. I've done 2 interviews, but one of them I like walked up to. Like when the company went out of business, my first thing that came to my mind was to go to the rival company's door that morning. And that's what I did. In the gear that I got laid off in, like I showed up like in the rival sweatshirt, and they're like, the guy was like caught off guard. I'm like, I need a job. And he's like, all right, well, this and that. And he tried like telling me like come back Monday. I said, if you don't hire me right now, I'm going up the street to so and so. Like that, and that's how I ended up getting my job.
Hey, we could have saved you the time. You wouldn't have had to even go to all
Whoa.
Yeah,
this.
I wish I knew. Man, those are the non-union days too.
Had you someone to negotiate it and stuff?
Yeah, maybe I could have got hired. Maybe I could
I
have got a higher dollar.
don't know. Some of the recruiters I've dealt with over the years would only like talk to like a couple or 2 or 3 companies, not like the whole thing. So then I had to talk to like multiple recruiters.
Mhm.
And sometimes I have like 3 recruiters going.
Yeah.
That's not
Well,
unusual.
Yeah.
a lot of people do that,
the-
but that's why we try to make sure that we reach out to other companies.
You didn't have
because
the good recruiter,
I don't want to
dog.
compete with somebody else.
You called
I
the
know,
wrong
because when you
recruiter.
talk to them, they're like your best friend, you know?
Do you
so
bring in
every
people?
every
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
every recruiter has different relationships, right? So like where we might have, client A, another recruiter might have a relationship with client B that we don't. So I always tell people it doesn't hurt to have more than one recruiter for sure, but just be sure that there's open and clear communication. Because when I say, hey, I'm going to be sending you out to these 5 companies, and you in that moment don't know that where you've been sent out to by other recruiters, which would be my personal nightmare,
Oh my
or
goodness, yeah.
2, you have been sent there, you've been sent there, and you don't tell me, then that's going to look bad on you as the candidate, on me as the recruiter, and that company is going to be like, what's going on here? So I think, again, working with other recruiters is perfectly fine, but just make sure that you are picky and choosy about your recruiters.
A little bit more
Is
transparent. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, here's another thing with recruiters too. I mean, it's just like let's say a good general foreman. Like this general foreman gets it done. This guy gets jobs done. If I need something, he gets it done. But then you also have this other general foreman, which is like, a recruiter is like, man, this general foreman never brings me anything good. All his recruits suck. And then, when they come and bring him, it's like, man, I got the best guy for you. And they're like, yeah, sure. Don't believe you. So, like, that's another thing too. I'm sure y'all don't want to like do recruiting for, I want to say like losers. I don't know if that's the right one,
To
the
say
right
it
word to
lightly.
say, but
Hey, I connect with
subpar.
I connect with people at companies that we recruit for just so I can kind of make those relationships and see like what do you like about your company. I've actually had somebody ask me, they're like, can you tell me a little bit about this company? So I asked somebody that worked there, like, you've been there for this amount of time, what keeps you there? What's how much growth do you have? What ways do they help you grow? So you kind of want to ask questions and be able to tell them, this is why this is a good company.
Okay. Yeah, I would go with a recruit. Man, I've just been in Atlanta for so long. And it's just like I'll go with a recruiter and be like, "Hey, what about this?" I'm like, "No, and not these guys, not these guys, not this guy, not this company."
So how about someone with 0 experience? Would you help recruit them?
It's a little bit harder, but we have done it. I actually
Yeah.
placed somebody last year. We placed somebody from a different industry into our industry just because, you've got to be more creative nowadays. Like if you can read blueprints, you can be trained.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. What
What's up,
about
Donnie?
drug testing and all that stuff? What's y'all's experiences with that?
My experience with that in fire protection was a lot different than now. Like, that was one of my main reasons why I liked Facebook, because I can see what you post on there. Like if you're posting about drugs all the time, I'm like, do I really want to work with you? Probably not.
Yeah.
and that was a lot more like something that I needed to look out for in fire protection.
Oh, because
So
you send them, you
So,
recruit
okay.
them, they get the job, and then what? Then they get to take a drug test, and then it all falls
take a
through.
drug test and they failed, and I'm going to have to replace that person. So
Jeez.
They're like, oh, I got someone really good for you. I'm gonna send them over. Everything. And they're like, oh yeah, we love them. Hit it out of the park, and then boom, piss is hot. You
yeah,
dummy.
I always ask, like, I would ask the question. I'm like, hey, if they quiz you, are you going to be able to pass the test? Just kind of ask them like in that general, like,
You gotta tell them
just
to.
make
You
it
gotta tell
something
them to make.
lighthearted.
You gotta tell them make sure that they study.
Yeah, study for the
That's the
test.
code.
That's
That's the
amazing.
code for the boys. Like, listen,
Yeah,
this is one of them jobs. You gotta study for the test. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Some
I
guys are
had a
good. Some guys are not.
company. I had a company send me for a hair follicle drug test
Oh
instead of
wow.
a urine.
Hair follicle?
Hair
They must
follicle.
be like super distrusting.
Well, it's like
Well,
A
90
sprinkler
days.
actually,
company?
sometimes.
So I know this because
That's
I had to
so
pay for
bizarre.
one, but they're $150. No, it's 150 for urine and hair follicle. So I would at my courthouse. So I would imagine it's like $110, you know, for a hair follicle drug. But still, you're cutting the hair, like,
Yeah.
and I think it goes back like 90 days. I've done in my
Wait,
career, I've
they
done two.
two hair
I've
follicle tests?
done two of them.
That's for like police, bro.
Yeah,
Like
well,
what in the world?
this was
We're
for
hanging
a
What
pipe,
about
kid.
government? Like
it
you
was a
have you
government
have to have a
job.
lot of government positions.
Like, man,
Yeah, this was
you
for
took a
a
hit of some
government.
weed 90 days ago. We can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Failing the test in 2023. Come on now, right?
And another big issue, like you had asked about the drug test, so I just want to say another big
Yep.
issue was in driving a company truck if you don't have a license.
Yeah,
That's
Matt.
another thing that
Matt just said that drugs and driving record. You got to ask him about.
yeah. So that was one of the we have a list of questions that we want to make sure we get asked to you. So, do you have a driver's license, a valid driver's license? That's a main question you want to
Yeah,
ask.
y'all don't want to be wasting your time either.
Right.
Mhm.
That's a big thing when you get hired. That's what they always say. They usually want like a high school diploma and a driver's license at least. Like,
Yeah.
show you did something. Don says you have to have some type of substance abuse is mandatory to be a sprinkler man.
Well, you got to have something. There has to be something messed up with you to
In
be
the
a
field,
sprinkler
at
man.
least.
I had to go to work to see the drug usage, but honestly, most of the sprinkler guys that did some weed actually were better on it. Could sling some pipe. Hell yeah, Matt. I know some of them guys. A hair follicle test is to do construction work is ridiculous. You could have smoked weed three
Yeah.
months ago and be clean as a whistle and still pee dirty on your hair follicle. I agree. That's crazy.
I mean, it's the government positions though. If you're going into a government facility, you've got to have that background check. You got
Yeah,
to have
I had to go to so you had like a secret area, then you have like a secured area, and I was back there in
The three
the
Ds.
base.
What's the
And
And
three?
yeah, I had to.
some of
Hmm?
the companies we worked for, we had to make sure that they could pass a security clearance.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah,
that was a
those
big.
I have to do those all the time. The like a Corey check.
Have you
Mhm.
ever asked someone, you ever had a company ask or request a credit score?
No.
No.
Damn, I would pass flying colors with that one. Check my
Yeah.
credit score, dog. I'd love to slap that at the top of my resume.
Dude, I freaked out. We just got my wife a car and
Would you lose like 50 points?
oh, probably a lot, but it was a 825. I was like, "What?" Like I freaked out. I was like, "Look at
That's
this.
good.
Everybody look at this." And then put it on my fridge. Like, look at
That's
it.
good. That's good, bro. Good shit. You're paying your bills
Yeah.
on time. I was told when I first started to be a real sprinkler man, I had to be a felon with child support and drink a 12 pack a day.
A quick tip too, if you think you're gonna get a vehicle or do a large purchase, like I want to say like 5 to 6 months, later, then you can do a debt consolidation with a personal loan, and personal loans do not show up on your credit score. So then it just looks like you paid off all this debt and it's on time and everything, and then boom, shoots up, gives you a nice spike for whatever that large purchase
But that
is.
personal loan is like a 10% interest rate right now, isn't it?
I mean, my credit union, I think it's like Look, interest rates were ridiculous anywhere.
Crazy. Daryl wants to know if you can get him a job when he's got a learning disability.
Probably not Daryl. He's talking about himself.
Daryl, where are you getting these questions, bro? What
Stay
about
safe.
learning? What
Can you
about
mute him?
He says, what about learning disabilities? What about them? We all got them.
I got
Daryl
one.
stays
I
up
probably
with
have
me
like
about these
3.
questions.
That could be ADHD. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you're in the field for a reason. You can't sit in a desk.
Yeah, so true. Oh shit, that's great. I got
You think we
ADHD.
put these wrenches in our hand by mistake? I mean, come on.
Tomorrow's Friday. We excited for Friday? I'm excited for Friday tomorrow.
Always.
Let's see if you guys are liking this video or not. Dang, you guys aren't liking it.
So what's y'all's day to day?
Hit
So
the
y'all
like
get in,
button.
I
Hit
guess,
the
at like
like
8
button.
o'clock. And then what? You
9.
start making phone calls, or you just start getting on LinkedIn and, hey, my name is Emily.
you sounded like you were about to spit Eminem right there.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's good.
So we have time blocks. We do certain times for LinkedIn. We do certain times for calls. I make sure to set my time because I have a lot of people who, you're in the field, so you can't take calls during your hours, your work hours. So I'll stay and take calls after 5. So I mean,
they could talk on the job, no?
I get about
little headpiece in. They say they can.
I get about 3 calls a month from a recruiter. But I've always had the same number, and I've always used my personal number for like work and all. But yeah.
What do they say? You looking for a job?
No, it's like they try to be your friend first. So they'll call me, and then they'll start establishing this rapport with me and everything, and they start talking about the future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years and 3 years? And where do you want to be and all that? And it's like, hey, I have this over here. It's like I'm buying a timeshare.
Is that the play? Timeshares are dope. Don't be hating on timeshares. Is that the play that you guys do? Cold call people?
I don't like cold calls. I don't know about if Emily does as many cold calls as me, but I don't do cold calls. Whenever I go on LinkedIn, I will try to connect with as many people as I can, and I go ahead and make the calls and just introduce myself. I'm not calling you about a job. I'm just calling you just to introduce myself. And then
You're
later
good
down
at
the road,
LinkedIn.
I love LinkedIn.
Dude, you did the poll. You did the poll and did all this thing when we first started this conversation. Like you did the poll and everything. Like who? So fast. I'm like, if I tried to do that, it would take me the entire day, all day.
We just checked. She was like 25 away from 20,000 on LinkedIn. So if you guys are on here and you want to go follow Ashley on LinkedIn, and we can get her back to 10, better get her back to 20,000.
And come back to fire protection.
Yeah, right.
So what do you think? Do you feel like I'm doing? Do you have any tips for me in my LinkedIn?
Polls are really good. A lot of people, because they like to answer the questions.
Interact.
And that's when
CTA,
so on my
dog.
Facebook, when I had the fire protection Facebook, I had hit the limit of friends that I could have.
Whoa.
But I would ask a lot of questions, like where are you guys from? Just a lot of interactive stuff is what a lot of people like.
Call to action. You got to ask them.
It's like a click.
Yeah, it's just a click.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to click it. Boom.
Well, how do you do it?
How do you put a poll?
Yeah, on LinkedIn.
Oh, so
probably right there.
You click like you're gonna create a new post, and then at the bottom there's like the 3 dots, and then it's like more or whatever, and there's polls.
You gotta be freaking kidding me.
It literally says poll. You click.
Wow.
Look at poll.
Look at that.
Boom.
Let me tell you a story.
I don't even use LinkedIn.
I have came a long way. So, thank goodness for my wife. But
where? A long way with what?
When we started, shut up, Bobby. When we started Dope and Tape,
Still got a long way to go, kid.
I bought my first computer. So some things I'm still, trying to figure out.
If you guys notice when he takes a picture of the computer, he's always just on his desktop. He's never got anything open.
Well, I don't want to show anything. But now, dude, now I am rocking and rolling. I'm typing fast. I'm on Procore doing estimates. I'm going through our CRMs. I mean, I'm sending emails. Like I am killing it.
I want to see your typing fast compared to Ashley's typing fast.
I mean, it's pretty fast. pretty
Two,
fast.
just two fingers, or are you using 8 fingers?
No, I put my my pointer finger on those little lines on the keyboard, and I am going.
You're like my dad.
I put my pointer
What?
on those little lines. I can't even. Quick, ask Zoe.
Listen,
What
I've been
stops
typing
X-rays?
since dial-up, so we used to have Messenger, and I would type so fast it would be like you're typing too fast for Messenger to keep up. I'm like, oh, okay.
What? Okay.
I remember
Wow.
the dial-up days.
Yeah, that was
The
fun.
AOL Messenger.
You've got
Yeah.
You know, the
mail.
doors open and
The
close it.
door,
That was
right?
right after school.
You put someone
Try
as
to talk
like
to
when
my
your buddy
crush,
signs
you
on,
know.
it's like the cash register sound.
Yep.
Man must be in pipe dope.
They had some fun groups too.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the industries that we're working in right now, like fire protection and construction and the glazing industry, there are a lot of the people are such like a tight knit group, and they're fun. It's a fun group. Like anytime I get on there, I can have conversation with tons of people, and I think that's what helps with LinkedIn too.
Yeah,
Here's
LinkedIn's
another
definitely been cool.
question. All right. Let's say that I'm gonna phrase it two ways. Okay. Number one, I got balloons now.
Who the fuck's doing that?
How
Is
is
Zoom
Brian
open?
getting everything and we're not?
I think maybe the Zoom is open and Zoom people can come into the Zoom.
No,
I
you're
don't
doing
know.
that. You're doing that.
Oh.
Brian's
I don't
making it
know.
look like he's popular. He's like, I'm gonna put some balloons.
If I can't do a poll on LinkedIn, I don't think I can make balloons.
How the freak do you do that, bro? Oh,
So,
sorry.
all right. So, how do you keep a guy from getting screwed? Like, he needs to be able to ask the right questions, because sometimes your role is this, and you think it's like gonna be like this, and it ends up being so much other things, and it's just he's calling you in a week,
Where
you
his
know,
hands
to
are
either
shaking.
chew you out or ask you for something else.
Has something to do with your hands. Sorry, squirrel.
I think that has a lot to do with, okay, so we don't just create the relationships with you guys, we create relationships with companies too. So we're going to find out exactly what it is that they're looking for. You know, um, we ask the questions that you can't always ask ahead of time. So, you know, there's some questions that if you want me to ask, I'm going to ask them on your behalf too. So
I
think
think
that helps.
going with a good recruiter, that's the thing. A good recruiter is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because especially for someone who has been in the industry, like for example, from my situation, I don't want people to know when I'm shopping, because people call and then talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have people talking about me at the office and then calling their other buddies. Hey, Brian's doing this. He must not be good at, wherever he is. And so being, incognito is super important for me.
Mhm.
And then also y'all can do the negotiations for me, so I don't have to be a jerk. Be like, hey, I need this, or I'm not coming. And then. So
And like if you're looking for a certain salary too, we're
mm,
going to go ahead and make sure that it's the correct salary for you ahead of time.
And a truck
We're
and a
not
gas card.
Yeah, we're not going to send you into a company that you're going to go down in pay.
Right.
So
And we're also like, we know the market. So if
that
you
is
come,
true. Y'all see it
I
every
have people
day.
come to me and they're like, yeah, I want to make 250. And I'm like, that's not reasonable for your experience, for where you want to be. Like, there's definitely something to be said for those conversations as well, not just, oh, I can get you that. Like, I'm not gonna BS somebody.
Yeah, you gotta be
Yeah,
reason. You gotta be realistic. People don't leave good companies with good leaders. Be a good company. Damn right, Joe.
that is true.
yeah,
That is true.
and and I like how he said leaders, because a lot of people, if they're managers, they're not always leaders. But if you have a
Yeah.
good leader, then you're going to want
And
to stay with that
this is
company.
something that makes me mad. And I'm the one that calls me. I would say me and Bobby, because when we're together, we're the same way. Like, we will call you out on your bull crap real fast.
Oh
Like we
yeah,
mean it in a nice, caring way. We do, but you're not. It's not
you
gonna slide.
you gotta hear it.
Yeah.
That's it. You
Um.
gotta tell them the truth. You gotta be truthful.
So this is the big thing. Like it makes me so frustrated. And going back to the book,
Yo, spit it out, dog.
going back to the good book, Good to Great, is it's a terrible book to read, but there's so
That's
much great
fucking good.
information in it.
Is this a sponsorship?
It is. It is.
Jesus,
Hey,
showing
put
us
the
dumb
But
link,
it's a
book.
good book for
Amazon link
it
down in the bottom.
references. I've read it like
Their sales are about to
2
go
years
way
ago.
up after you just
Yeah.
showed that thing 3 times.
Don't read it, guys. It's terrible. It's terrible. But they
Come on,
you
what?
got to promote from within, and so many companies do not, and it makes me so mad. Like if you got someone who's been busting their butt or been like, let's say, the companies will throw this word out there with it. Oh, we want our employees to be loyal to us and stuff. Then stop recruiting, from people outside your business. I know it's
Mhm.
not good business for you guys, but like you got to recruit from within.
But we ask those questions too, like when we talk to a company and they have an open position. What have you done to fill it? Have you looked internally? So we'll ask those questions because a lot of people will come back and be like, you know what, we filled it internally. And I mean, I do think that's a good thing to do. If you want your employees to stay, if you want to,
Raise somebody up. Let them rise to the
yeah,
occasion,
Yeah.
right?
If I'm with a company in the last three senior levels or managers or something above me were all hired from outside, I'm gonna be like, screw this place. They're talking about growth in a career. What?
Mm,
You're not, how would you ever grow if no one around you is growing?
mhm.
There's zero reason for you to be there.
no, it's
I
You know,
want to
good.
one
see
thing
growth.
I like to see, like on a company end, what I like to see them do is publicize employee anniversaries.
That is,
Especially like it stands out when it's like 20 years, 30 years. Like
Wow.
you
And
kind of
take them
think
to
to yourself
lunch or
as
do
a like,
something
oh, I want to
special
be
for
there.
them.
Yeah, that's something a lot of the guys look for around where I am is like, you're like, oh, well, there's 10 guys here that have been here for 20, 25 years. This must be a good place.
And I've seen somewhere where they would like on an anniversary. There was only one place I'd known about. I didn't work there, but they would like do a weekend thing for you. Like pay for a date night with your wife. Hey, bring me the receipt, or pay for you to go karting or something like that. Like that's awesome.
That is pretty
I mean,
cool.
there's a lot of different things that companies can do to keep their good people.
Yeah, and then what?
Not
You
be
take
creative.
you take your wife or girlfriend out to dinner and a nice dinner, get dinner and a bottle of wine. It's like 150.
Boom.
It's nothing for a company to cover that.
And it makes you feel good. It incentivizes.
He's like, wow, yeah, my company's paying for this. I've been with 2 years. They really value me. Come on,
Boom.
baby, I got this. Let's
150
go.
bucks. It's like the cost of a 6-inch grooved elbow.
Yeah.
Those are things like most people probably don't
Pizza.
talk about. And those are things that we know because we pay attention to that. So like,
Right.
that's another kind of inside information that recruiters can know about a company. Like I really try to know as best as I can what a company's culture is like, even though I'm not working there. I'm selling that company to candidates just as if I did work there. So
That's pretty cool.
It is.
This has been a lot of information, not only for
Man,
everybody that's watching,
awesome.
but for myself.
Any questions?
Besides any Daryl questions.
Can we just not answer any of those?
Sorry, Daryl. I'm really giving it to you tonight. I'll stop. We're at the end here anyway, so.
It's his learning disability. Just maybe he just forgets.
You upset him talking about the book because he can't read it.
Matt
Hey,
says
he said it. I didn't.
Matt says pizza parties. Yeah, those are great. Those are my
Oh,
favorite.
screw those. We were talking about that on LinkedIn. Like, geez, I can't say it was my company's doing one tomorrow.
I like to try to pit the super. If you're on a big job site, right, and you're like in a foreman position and you get to talk to the supers every day, there's usually a couple supers, an assistant. You got to tell one of them, oh hey, the other guy said we're having pizza at like noon. Like, where are you guys gonna set it up? And then they'll be like, oh, he did. And then they go up and they'll go back and then they'll talk amongst each other. Hey, Bobby said that you're doing pizza at noon. He's like, did I say that? He's like, I don't know. He asked me where we were setting it up. And like, couple times now I've had like just random pizza parties thrown by the GC just from asking them like what time's the pizza party.
Bobby, I used to do that when I was younger with me and my cousin. After church, I'll be like, I would go to my aunt and I said, my dad said we're going to Western Sizzlin for lunch.
So let's talk about that.
I
All
love
right.
that.
So like
That's so
let's
good.
the pizza party example. All right, we're at 10 o'clock. We'll make this fast, but I gotta know. I gotta know. All right, everybody, come into the shop. We're having a pizza party. We really appreciate you. I I don't know. It's just
What
it's
time?
not. I don't
What
feel.
time? What time's it at? What time's it at?
I,
What
I
time's the
don't
pizza
feel
party at the
super
shop?
at noon.
I'm cool with that.
But
Right?
then you gotta wait. Then you
Is
go
it
home.
I'm
during
getting
work hours?
no, like I'm not.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
feel really
That's.
appreciated?
Well, I know that I'm not on the ladder. I know that I'm not doping and taping shit. I'm driving to the shop. I'm gonna have me some pizza and a Coca-Cola, and then I'm hopefully gonna like skate out of there at like 1:30 and not have to sit there till like the very end. But I see it as free pizza and a short day.
All right. Okay. So
But if it
there's
was
two
at two,
types.
if it was at 2 o'clock or 2:30, fuck no, I'm not going.
Okay. All right. So time matters. All right. Number two types of companies. Let's say it's at the perfect time. It's at 12 o'clock, lunchtime, right? One company sends you home a short hours, or you got to go back to work and get your 8. Number two sends you out and it's like, hey, all right, after you eat, y'all go home, call
Well,
it
you
8.
better not cut my hours for your little pizza party.
No,
Hell
No.
no.
Then you don't really feel appreciated, do you?
Hell
no.
no. That
I
I
also
think that would backfire.
I
I'd be
also don't
so
think like
pissed.
one of my old companies I used to work for a long time ago, they gave pizza every time they did an appreciation. And at that point I don't feel appreciated anymore. I'm just like this it's
What
pizza
a cop out.
every time.
I did
I
work
do
for
think like there's other things that could be done to
Okay.
appreciate. Like,
What you got?
so there's actually a guy, his name's Felipe. I don't remember his last name, sorry. But he's collecting like a database of strategies to improve the workplace and construction. So like one of his examples, and of course this is the only one I can think of, is like those primo porta potties. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're like air conditioned or heated depending on your weather,
mm,
like actual running water to wash your hands. That type of gesture, like on a job site, for me, that would speak volumes. Like I don't have to go in
Mm.
a nasty one. So like things like that over a pizza party. A pizza party is going to be appreciated for the few hours that you're there. What's something that is more like long lasting for your employees?
What
I
about
mean,
this? What if you got a new construction? I'm saying this because I've done it. I thought it was a good idea. So I just showed up randomly on my new construction job, right? As a project manager. So I showed up. I got a group. I had 6 guys there. Okay. I was like, all right, guys, put down your tools. Let's go to lunch. Y'all go home. Go on. And we went to lunch. It was like I picked them up at 11:30. Showed up at the job site. Didn't tell them I was coming. And then we went to lunch. Had a great time. And then they went home. And I believe they felt appreciated. I told them, hey guys, I really appreciate y'all doing a great job. Blah blah. Blah. You know, we were on time with
yeah,
everything.
that's a great gesture.
I feel
Yeah.
like you're covering different things too. Like, okay, what is it? The love languages.
Right.
Everybody feels appreciated different ways. Well, you just covered
Yeah.
different things. You're not just giving pizza at a table and saying, "Hey, go
Hmm.
get your pizza." You're sitting down, you're having fellowship with them, and you're letting them know that you do appreciate them, and you're talking to them, and also providing them with a meal and quality time because they get to leave now after this meeting. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you're covering a lot of bases with that.
Send Panera to the crew on your job site. Wow, okay. I like that one. I work on big fancy jobs in Boston, so I guess we're spoiled. Like the air conditioned heated bathrooms we got.
Oh,
They
that's
do
nice.
like we get like full spreads. Like they'll do like barbecue. They'll have a ice cream truck. Like we get definitely spoiled in Boston on some of these big jobs. Like the ice cream truck, I think really you see a bunch of construction guys get all giddy. Like they're like ice cream truck. Like who brings an ice cream truck to a job site and they just like hand you whatever you want. Like that's cool. We want more ice cream trucks. Fuck the pizza.
Well, on that note, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yeah,
We
we
really
appreciate
appreciate
it so
it.
much.
I learned a lot as well, and yeah, you guys are the way to go. And it seems like the star of the show is Bob Cantrell. So if you were going to call anybody, I guess call fire. Was it sprinkler jobs? Fire
Fireprotectionjob.com.
protection jobs. All right, fire
And if
protection.
anybody's
Fireprotectionjobs.com.
watching in the glazing industry or construction industry, you can go to Mr. Davidson. It's DAVIDSON.com. So
And
if we
go to
have any,
Ashley Klein. You know
just give
what?
us a call.
The rest of I even brought this up to my dad because we talk every day. I was like, you won't believe who we're gonna have on the show tonight. And then he's like, no, who? You know, he didn't want to guess. But I said, Ashley Klein. He said, no way.
That's awesome.
One of my
Ashley
favorite
Klein.
things was when I left the industry and then I couldn't remember what my password was for my Facebook. I went on there to try to see if anybody had commented on my page, and there was a milk carton with my face on it. And it says, "Have you seen Ashley Klein?" I was like, oh, that made me feel good.
That's so
They
cool.
love you.
That's
And
awesome.
Emily, how can we get in touch with you and for what jobs and everything if we wanted to do that?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Go to Mr. Davidson. I'm also on LinkedIn. Uh, job wise, again, commercial construction, roles in the field and in the office, mostly management.
What's up? You can hit.
Otherwise, like, let's chat because you never know who I also know that could help you out in another way. So,
Yeah. And guys,
And
quick tip too. Because I've talked to a lot of recruiters. Sorry, Ashley.
good.
But if you're talking to the recruiter and it sounds like that recruiter doesn't know what he's talking about, move on.
Move on.
Find you another one.
Call Ashley or Emily.
That person will just
Find them on
basically
LinkedIn.
It'll basically go out in the backyard, dig a hole, and put your resume in it and fill it up. Like it's nothing's happening. Nothing.
Awesome. This has been a great talk. Super
What I was
informational.
gonna say is, so you don't. I mean, even if you're not looking for a job, we're here for resume. We can help you edit resumes. Any questions that you have, if you just want some tips, give us a call.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Hey, y'all stay on the Zoom after Bobby
Dope and
kills it.
tape out. Thank everybody for joining. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button.